Welcome back, ladies and gents. Matty and Wanda back again. We thought today we would go through and do a little bit of an update on Wanda's backpacking gear loadout. We shot our last backpacking gear loadout video about a year ago, and we have changed out some of Wanda's backpacking gear, so we thought we will go through and do an updated backpacking gear loadout, much like I do for myself every year. We thought we would go through and update Wanda's gear as well. We will start out by going over Wanda's backpack a little bit. Wanda currently uses the Mountainsmith K9 Pack. We've been using this pack for about a year now, and we absolutely love it. It is extremely adjustable. Yes, I know you want to wear your backpack, you want to go hiking. I know, next weekend we're going hiking. As I was saying, extremely adjustable. Seems very comfortable for her as, you know, kind of the human in the equation. I absolutely love the pack. I love a lot of the features on it. If any of you guys and gals are interested in sort of our full in-depth review on all the features and details and specs of the Mountainsmith K9 Pack, I will pop that up in the cards for you guys. You may notice hanging out on the outside of her pack is this little roller with poop bags inside of it. As a dog owner, we've got to be responsible. I do carry biodegradable poop bags for Wanda when we're out on our backpacking trips. I know a lot of times if I have the opportunity, I will bury her poop. But if we are close to the trailhead or, you know, just even doing some day hiking, I do still bring Wanda's pack. And just as responsible dog owners, we do carry poop bags. One of the features I personally like about the Mountainsmith K9 Pack is it's got a couple little smaller pockets on the outside of the pack. I really like that for just keeping items that I'm gonna wanna be able to have quick, easy access to on the outside of the pack. On either side of her pack, we carry these two little booties. So she's got 4 booties in total, 1 for each paw. These are soft booties. They're from a company called Mountain Ridge. We initially got these for her for winter time, as you know, she is very fluffy and she builds up ice balls pretty badly. But I found that these have actually held up extremely well using these on really rough, rocky terrain. And that's primarily where she ends up using them. And as I mentioned, she carries 4. She's got 2 in the other side. As well, on the outside of her pack, I do carry 1 small Bic mini lighter. Just kind of a redundant backup fire starting source. Obviously, Wanda is not the one operating a lighter. This is more for me. And as well, on the outside of her pack, a new gear addition to Wanda's gear loadout that we are extremely excited about this year. Wanda has been fortunate enough to get a set of Dyneema dog food bowls from Dutchware gear. These things are ridiculously lightweight. I'm not entirely sure the weight off the top of my head, but I will pop it up for you guys. And any of the gear I'm talking about today in Wanda's pack, I will put links down in the description box below if you guys are interested in checking out any of the gear that Wanda uses or picking up any of this gear for your dogs. They just kind of open up, gives you a nice little food or water bowl. The Dyneema dog food bowls were a little bit of an upgrade for her this year, and we are very, very excited to try these out. Another thing I do carry in the outside of her pack, which currently isn't in there, but we also do carry dog treats on the outside of her pack. Treats are pretty important, I think, for backpacking with your dog. They just, you know, they keep her engaged, and it just kind of gives her a little bit more reason to be paying attention to me out there on trails. So for anybody who's looking at backpacking with their dog, carrying treats with you when you're backpacking with your dog is super important. Now, diving into the main body of her pack, this is where she will carry the bulk of her gear. And Wanda does carry almost all of her own gear on herself. The only stuff of hers that I carry is some of the bigger, bulkier items, and we will talk about those a little bit at the end of this video. One of the first things you're gonna find in Wanda's pack, and it's always there, is a buff for her. Much like for myself, I like throwing a buff over my neck and getting it wet just to keep a little bit of cool water and kind of help regulate body temperature. I do that for her as well. She also carries a small microfiber towel. These things, they pack down pretty small. They don't really weigh a whole lot. Super absorbent. Hiking with a very poofy, fluffy dog, having a towel is very important, especially with her. She absolutely freaking loves the water. She lays down in like every water source that we come across. So I do carry a towel for Wanda. This doubles as my own pack towel as well. So it kind of helps eliminate a little bit of redundant weight that I would be carrying. And I just kind of make her carry the towel when she comes out with me. She's also got a little sweater. This is the same sweater she's been using for a while. It's this really, really cheap kind of fleece-lined water resistant sweater we got on Amazon. It's from this company called Noble Pet. I don't really know, honestly, if she needs the sweater. I mean, she's got a pretty thick coat of fur, but you know, nights in the Rockies do tend to get pretty chilled. I just kind of throw it on her overnight just in case she shakes her blanket off. The last thing I want is her waking up in the middle of the night being cold, and It's bright pink and she looks absolutely adorable when she wears this thing. Sort of in the same realm as a sweater, I also do carry a very lightweight rain jacket for Wanda. It cost me like $4 at my local pet shop. So if it's raining, I will throw the rain jacket on her. It's got little duckies on it, so it's absolutely cute as hell. Another gear change that we've made going into the 2021 backpacking season is we upgraded Wanda's leash a little bit. Essentially, it's just called a UCR, or a utility constrictor rope. This is from 7/64 AM steel. This is the same stuff that I use for my hammock suspension. I basically just made an adjustable length of cord and turned it into a simple dog leash for her. It's got a little AM steel soft shackle, so this is what I will use to hook it up to either her harness, her pack, or her collar. Packs down ridiculously small, just a little bit less bulk, a little bit less weight. I like the adjustable length on it. I've got a large size loop on one end so I can get my full hand through there, or I can get it around the waist belt of my pack and then just hook her up that way. And kind of along the same lines as the leash is this little pouch right here. This is Wanda's dog run. Inside that blue pouch is this little green cord here. This is a 50-foot chunk of a very strong Spectra line. This can double as my bear hang line, or if I'm backpacking in areas where leashes are required and your dog cannot be off leash, I can string this up between two trees and hook her leash up to it, and then, you know, she's got a little bit of a dog run. For her food situation, alongside the 2 bowls from Dutchware gear, I also carry her food individually packed for every meal. So Wanda eats 3 times a day, just like myself. So I just have a couple Ziploc bags and I just put, you know, whatever her breakfast, her lunch, or her dinner would be inside her pack. I like individually packaging it. I find it makes it a lot easier to balance the weight on her pack, so I can, you know, take one food bag, flip it to the other side, and just kind of balance out the weight in her backpack. That's kind of one of the bigger struggles with backpacking with the dog, is getting that pack weight equal on either side, or else you get your saddlebags getting lopsided and flip-flopping, and, you know, the bag just kind of sits really weird on your dog. For her water situation, we carry 2 of these 500 ml Platypus soft water bottles. I really like these because they're soft. I don't like using a hard bottle because I find these are just, there's gonna be less wear and tear and less banging on her ribs if I do end up having water inside these. And then the last thing that's inside Wanda's pack on either side, 2 simple, very small trash bags. Much like myself, I use these as pack liners for Wanda's pack. So when I'm loading up her bag, I just put everything inside these trash bags, roll up the top, and kind of seal it. Her pack is water resistant, but these just kind of give me an extra layer of protection. This just helps ensure that all of her gear stays dry when it's inside her pack. So that covers everything that Wanda carries in her pack on our backpacking trips. And as I mentioned before, there is some stuff for Wanda that I have to carry simply because it's a little bit too bulky to fit inside her pack, and that's what we're gonna go over right now. This is just my standard first aid kit that I carry on all my backpacking trips, but a lot of the stuff in here I have gone and made sure that it is going to work for me as well as for her. So I've got stuff like vet wrap and some Benadryl, and, you know, dog safe polysporin and gauze wraps and that kind of stuff. So I may have a little bit more of a comprehensive first aid kit than most ultralight backpackers, but that is because I do keep her in mind, and I carry a bunch of extra stuff just to make sure that I can take care of her as well as myself when we're out on trail. Always on the outside of my pack is her sleeping pad. This is just one of your run-of-the-mill blue closed cell foam 1/2 inch thick sleeping pads you can find at most outdoor retailers. I've just cut it down and made it a little bit smaller. Wanda doesn't need a full-size pad to sleep on, so this is her sleeping pad. It gives her a little bit of insulation from the ground, as well as gives her a little bit of a cushioning. And going from her ground insulation to her top insulation, I've got a couple different options that I carry depending on sort of which part of the year or kind of what overnight expected temperatures are going to be. Up here in the Rockies, it's very common to be close to freezing or even dip below freezing, even in the summertime. So quite often I will carry this little synthetic throw blanket here. This is just kind of one of your like Costco throw blankets, very similar to the down throws, but this one here is synthetic. The reason I go with synthetic is just because if Wanda ends up getting damp, or, you know, I can't get her completely dry before we go to bed, I can throw this over top of her and she will dry with her body heat, and the moisture will pass through the synthetic blanket and it's not going to affect the insulation properties. And in the dead middle of summer, when it's not as cold outside, we do carry a thin little fleece blanket for her. And because Wanda and myself are huge Oiler fans, obviously it is Edmonton Oilers. Go Oilers, go. And the last piece of Wanda specific backpacking gear that I do carry on our backpacking trips is actually one of my absolute favorite pieces of gear ever, and that is our Cave Creek Pet Palace. As many of you guys and gals are aware, I am an avid hammock camper. I absolutely love sleeping in my hammock, and I love being able to bring my dogs out on backpacking trips. So the Cave Creek Pet Palace allows me to sleep in my hammock as well as bring her. The Cave Creek Pet Palace is essentially a fully integrated bug net with bathtub floor. It drapes over top my hammock, so my hammock hangs inside of it. Wanda gets completely protected from bugs. It doubles as my ground sheet. It gives her a nice dry place to sleep, as well as protects her from bugs. So she's not getting eaten alive by mosquitoes and such overnight. We absolutely freaking love the Cave Creek Pet Palace. Like I said, it's one of my absolute favorite pieces of gear that I've ever got. And that about does it. That is Wanda's backpacking gear that we are gonna go with for the 2021 backpacking season. Now, as I mentioned before, we have done a previous backpacking gear loadout, and if you guys are interested in checking that out, I will slide it up right here for you guys. So when you guys are done watching this one, slide up there, check that out if you guys have not seen that already. As always, guys, I am Matty. This is Wanda. Thank you so dang much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Good girl.